Well, good afternoon. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is a tropical update for the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment Fleet Response Working Group. We work with the states and the state private sector liaisons to provide information to help their private sector partners improve their situational awareness and decision making. And we also put this on the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment Data Sharing Hub, so information can be gathered quickly and trusted. So we have a tropical system out here, Potential Tropical Cyclone number 4. The National Hurricane Center started issuing its advisories, the first advisory at 11 o'clock this morning. This is a update around noontime Eastern time. And I'm showing you the satellite picture because you can see what's going on. Actually, we see some circulation over Cuba. Over the land. However, you can sort of see this general cloud mass over here that is causing a lot of concern, particularly along the western Florida coastline. Actually, it should be the entire peninsula of Florida. I'll get to that in just a second. But you can see in the satellite pictures here, thunderstorm activity to the north, thunderstorm activity to the south, and you can see sort of a general circulation happening right here. That area is expected to move along the Cuban peninsula, up along the west coast of Florida. It could be off the coast. It could be just inland over Florida. Either way, we have a tropical depression, and that means we have a lot of tropical moisture associated with it. So if it does take this track, unfortunately going over the Gulf of Mexico, where sea surface temperatures are very warm, and there is very little shear. That's strong winds at the upper levels of the atmosphere where these storms really get their energy and start to spin. There's nothing there that would tear this apart. So conditions are favorable when this system during the day tomorrow and early on Sunday get up into the western Gulf of Mexico. If that is the track that it takes, we could see strengthening into a tropical storm. If it does that, it will be Tropical Storm Debbie, and conditions would be favorable if it remains off the coast for it to potentially increase to hurricane intensity. So all eyes are on this tropical system. I want to put this into full screen mode here for you and show you what we're dealing with. There's not too much in the way of African dust anywhere around here that would tend to inhibit further development. We had African dust around several weeks ago into last week, but that is gone now. So there's really nothing to inhibit this system once it gets off the land. And it's centered over Cuba right now. Not a lot going on in Cuba. You can see over the ocean and to the south in the Caribbean, there's quite a lot of storm activity. So let me show you GeoCollaborate and where the system looks right now. So GeoCollaborate is not only indicating the past track of the system as provided by the National Hurricane Center, but where the cone of uncertainty is now forecast. So this cone is only where the center of the storm is expected to remain, and that's valid about 66% of the time. A third of the time, it could be out of the track as well. So I haven't put the official forecast center line in there. That's not really important right now because once the storm is forecast to enter into the Florida Straits, that's when it is expected to increase in intensity. Therefore, the National Hurricane Center has issued a tropical storm watch along the southern part of the Keys of Florida and also to the north. I'll zoom in here a little bit so you can see the delineation of the watches and warnings. So again, to the south along the Florida Keys here, including the dry Tortugas, there is a tropical storm watch in effect. There is a tropical storm warning in effect along southwest Florida, the Florida Peninsula, from East Cape Sable to Bonita Beach. And so that includes Naples. So this is the tropical storm warning. The tropical storm watch also extends to the north. That tropical storm watch is in effect on the west coast of Florida, north of Bonita Beach, and that includes Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, Port Charlotte, all the way up to about Spring Hill, just south of Spring Hill, which is to Aripka. So that's the current tropical storm watch in effect. That means tropical storm force conditions could be expected over the next 24 to 36 hours in this area. Now, tropical storm winds are likely in this warning area, which includes Naples, during the day tomorrow into tomorrow night. So we'll be keeping you posted on the progress of this system, but I do want to widen out a little bit and show you the future potential impacts as well. So this storm is forecast to move across Florida and then back out over the Atlantic Ocean. This is GeoCollaborate. I'll bring it here a little bit wider so you can see what the impacts could be. So if the storm moves off into the Atlantic Ocean, current forecast is that it could reach tropical storm and or hurricane strength once again. So those of you living along Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina should monitor the progress of this storm very closely because it doesn't look like it's going to be a very fast mover. This could be a storm that sticks around for a couple of tide cycles, and that will have impacts to the South Carolina and North Carolina coastlines, also to the Georgia coastline as well. We have put this polygon in GeoCollaborate. I'll widen out here a little bit further too, so you can see those of you who have access to this GeoCollaborate dashboard can click on this polygon and see that coastal impacts and heavy rainfall could occur between Sunday and Wednesday night in this area highlighted. So those of you who are responding to critical infrastructure impacts, monitor this storm closely because we could have a serious impact along the Carolina coastline once this storm moves past Florida. Now, I'm going to turn on a data layer here in GeoCollaborate showing where the expected significant 3-day rainfall could be. And so you can see that here now. So in South Florida, we have a likelihood that we will have significant rainfall that has impacts. That means flooding along the roads, drainage is poor, and along the coastline, particularly at high tide, drainage will be hampered because of those higher tides. But look at how much of the Florida peninsula could be impacted by excessive rainfall. We're talking rainfall of 5 to 8 inches at the moment. If this system develops further and moves off the coast of Florida slightly, rainfall will be quite intense over the interior of Florida and even along the east coast of Florida as well. So everyone in Florida needs to pay attention to the development of this storm, even on the panhandle of Florida, although impacts right now are not expected to be as significant as those impacts along the Florida peninsula. So again, this storm will have impacts. It looks like tropical storm warnings are now in effect, as I just identified, which includes Naples all the way down to southwest Florida peninsula to the edge of the Everglades there. Tropical storm watches are in effect. They could turn into warnings as this system emerges off the Cuban coast and strengthens. So if it strengthens into a tropical storm over the Florida Straits, we will have tropical storm warnings, perhaps even hurricane warnings issued for Southwest Florida in future National Hurricane Center updates. And so tropical storm means winds of 35 to 73 miles per hour. Could be higher gusts in strong thunderstorms, and also heavy and widespread rainfall is likely as well. 5 to 8 inches of rain is not out of the question, with locally higher amounts. And you know where you live and where you respond and where you have to drive trucks to provide relief or power restoration in Florida, where those low areas are and where they're most likely to flood. We do have access to the National Water Model through the National Water Center, the National Weather Service, and we'll be monitoring that as well, and we'll bring that up into localized mode if it is required. So once again, we have this storm system that's developing over Cuba, expected to emerge over the Florida Straits, increase in intensity to a tropical depression, and then perhaps into Tropical Storm Debbie during the day tomorrow into tomorrow night. We'll be keeping you posted. We may have another update tonight if conditions warrant after the 11 p.m. Hurricane Center update. If not tonight, we'll have another update during the day tomorrow as we monitor the progress of this potential tropical cyclone. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This has been a noontime update, and we'll be posting this in the Storm Center hub, the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment hub, so states can share it with their private sector partners. Thanks so much for watching.